The king ordered the warrior to humiliate him, but with one strike, he broke her armor and pride. The crowd roared beneath the twin suns of the arena. Dust rose from the ground, swirling around polished spears and banners bearing the crimson sigil of the Vorthak Empire. In the center stood a human, unarmored, unarmed, surrounded by thousands of aliens who saw him as little more than prey. "Let the games begin," the king declared from his elevated throne, his voice booming across the Colosseum. Across from a human, a towering warrior stepped forward, 8 feet tall. Her skin shimmered a dark violet under the heat, and jagged bone armor clung to her powerful frame. Her name was Syraxa, known as the Breaker of Champions. Undefeated in all combat, she did not sneer. She did not need to. Her confidence was etched into every controlled step she took. Her orders were clear. Humiliate the human before finishing him. The crowd expected a spectacle, a human begging for mercy, broken limb by limb. It would be a gift to their king, who despised how this lone outsider had bested 5 of his guards in a tavern scuffle days prior. But the human, a soldier named Kale, stood silent, eyes narrowed. He carried no weapon, wore no protection. He had been given no food for 2 days, no rest. This was not meant to be a fight. It was a message. Syraxa approached, slamming the butt of her spear into the ground. "Human," she said, her voice hard and clear. "Run. It will make this more entertaining." Kale didn't move. "Or perhaps you wish to die standing. That's fine, too." Still, he said nothing. With a shrug, Syraxa launched herself forward, a blur of power and violence. Her spear came crashing down, but Kale shifted, just one step. The weapon struck nothing but dust. He slid under the blow and pivoted, and with a sudden movement faster than the crowd could follow, he raised his hand and struck. His palm collided with the side of her torso, right between the plates of her armor. There was a sound like stone shattering. Syraxa reeled, stumbling backward. Her armor cracked. A long, jagged line split across her side. Gasps echoed through the arena. The mighty warrior had been struck by a bare-handed human. The king stood halfway from his throne, his smile faltering. Syraxa's expression darkened. "That was luck," she growled, adjusting her grip on her spear. "You'll not get another." But Kale was already moving. She stabbed forward, lightning fast, but he caught the shaft with both hands, twisted and pulled her forward. He slammed his shoulder into her midsection. Her breath exploded from her lungs. Kale stepped aside. She crashed into ground, skidding, bone armor scraping off in chunks. The arena fell utterly silent. Syraxa lay still for a moment. Then her hand twitched. She pushed herself up, face streaked with dust and disbelief. "You," she said softly. "You are no ordinary human." Kale stood a few feet away, breathing steady. "I never said I was." A drop of blood slid down Syraxa's chin. She looked at it, then at him. Her hands trembled, not from pain, but from something worse. Doubt. No one had ever struck her like that. No one had ever stood after her first attack. No one had looked at her like that, not with fear, but calm pity. She rose, her pride cracking with her armor. "This fight is not finished." "I didn't say it was." With a scream, she surged again, faster, more erratic, fury and shame fueling her strikes. Kale dodged, ducked, turned. Each blow missed. And then, with a final pivot, he struck her jaw with his elbow, and Syraxa fell once more. Her spear clattered beside her, her armor broken, her confidence shattered. And Kale just stood over her, not pressing his advantage, not gloating. "You were ordered to humiliate me," he said quietly. "You obeyed, but now you've seen the truth." She looked up at him, chest heaving, arms shaking. "I was a fool." Kale offered her a hand. She hesitated, then took it. He helped her to her feet, the crowd still silent. Then Syraxa turned toward the royal box. "My king," she called voice hoarse, "I cannot obey your command. This human is not to be humiliated. He is not beneath us." The king's face twisted in rage. "You will finish him now." Syraxa stood straighter. "No." There was a flash of movement. The king rose, barked an order. Soldiers began to pour into the arena. Kale turned to Syraxa. "Will you stand with me?" She hesitated, then nodded. "I will, even if it means exile." The soldiers charged. Kale knelt beside a fallen guard and retrieved a blade. He tossed another to Syraxa, who caught it with a grin. "Let's see what we can break this time," she said. And together they fought, back to back. The alien warrior and the human who had bested her moved in tandem, cutting through the royal soldiers with speed and precision that left the crowd stunned. They weren't fighting for show anymore. They were fighting for truth. The battle didn't last long. Kale and Syraxa's blows were precise, measured, one after another. The guards fell, not dead, but defeated, their weapons broken, their pride shattered. The king's face turned pale. "Seize them," he roared. Both of them. But the arena, once loud, had gone strangely still. No soldier moved. No commander stepped forward, because what they had just seen broke the illusion of power. Kale stood atop the last broken spear and pointed at the king. "You send champions to do your cruelty. You command warriors like beasts. But strength earned through fear is not true strength." Syraxa walked beside him, battered but standing proud. "This human is the first one who ever treated me like an equal, and I will not raise my weapon for a coward king again." The crowd murmured, then cheered, a slow, rising wave of voices. The king fled his throne. The palace guard stepped aside. By nightfall, the arena was quiet again. Syraxa and Kale stood at its center, alone. "You broke more than my armor," she said at last. He looked at her. "You broke everything I thought I knew about humans, about strength." Kale gave a quiet nod. "And you reminded me that strength isn't about power. It's about choice." She tilted her head. "Where will you go now?" He looked up at the stars. "I don't know, but I'd go farther if I weren't going alone." Syraxa smirked, then offered her arm. "Then you're not." And together, a human, and the warrior once sent to humiliate him walked out of the arena. No longer enemies, no longer pawns, but equals.